Clovercrest Media Group is proud to present Season 2 of Stinky Peek.
She told me that he's been lying. All of it.
Well, his whole life is a lie.
I think the circumstances were dubious about her disappearance because she had run away several times prior.
And so there's almost a perverse incentive to say if I think this person is going to reveal this information or if I think there's physical evidence that a 12-year-old might have of being physically and sexually abused, I'm better off taking the chance of killing her than I am of getting caught because she tells someone or she confides in someone.
She told me she felt like she was climbing the walls, which isn't a phrase that a kid would use. Like she felt like she was almost trapped. And she said she was trying to look for a way out.
I won't go into detail, but I would say you're hot.
She told me he hasn't told a soul. The man driving the car, whoever he was, nobody's ever said a peep. It was never talked about again, even between the two of them. And I'm not sure those two even saw each other after this.
Subscribe to Stinky Peek wherever you listen to podcasts. Welcome to the Roll Call Podcast. I'm Joe McGuire along with Lucas Baldock and Dylan Oxton. Well, boy, this team, I'll tell you, after they swept the White Sox on May 23rd, they had the third best record in the American League. Since then, they're 5-13. Only the Diamondbacks and Rangers are worse. Yankees, Dylan, you'll know, are 2-7 when going for a sweep this season. Much like James Tyone, just can't finish anybody off. 8.5 games back in the AL East. The starters have a 6.16 ERA in their last 14 games. Yankees have allowed 7 runs or more in 3 straight games. First time that's happened this season. The Yanks have also suffered now 5 walk-off losses. Only the Giants with 7, and it would be more if Mike Tauchman wasn't robbing home runs left, right, and sideways. Still don't get that trade. By the way, Wandy Peralta on the Mike Tauchman idea, 6 1/3 innings in his first 8 games, a 2.84 ERA. Seemed like a good deal. Last 9 games, 6 innings, ERA's at 7.50. Not good.
No, not good at all.
Dylan, you titled the episode "We Suck Again," and I think that's definitely what is this team. You actually made a really great point, and I'd love you to share it with people. You sort of diagnosed in our group text what's wrong with this baseball team.
Oh, well, what's wrong with this? Well, Joe, where do I start? What's wrong with this baseball team? So I know we planned on having the episode, this episode on Friday, right? And when Friday comes around after we beat the Twins, we take 2 or 3 from the Twins. We looked pretty good. And, I think that between the 3 of us, we'd say we weren't that upset about Thursday's loss with Chapman letting up those walk-off home runs. Even though the game was in hand, that's a game we should win. I think between the 3 of us, we were more happy that the offense was coming around at that point, to be perfectly honest. And I was like, okay, I'm down with taking that out. So coming off the Twins, I'm like, okay, maybe the offense is coming around. We're going to win a couple games. And then we go to Philly. And then we're at Philly, offense up until late in the game on Saturday. We look lifeless, and then we still lose that game. We blow that game with Chapman at the end. Again, that happens, but also it happened because this fakakta, the extra inning rule, which is a bunch of BS. We've talked about it. I've said how I feel about it, and then Sunday. Just lifeless. No one's there. No one's hitting. And I think the only person to have multiple hits on this team yesterday was DJ LeMahieu. And we've been screaming all year for him to, have a couple multi-hit games. But of course, the only time he has multi-hit games is when no one else is hitting, and it means nothing. I mean, it's just every problem that could possibly hit this team, whether it's base running, defense, offense, pitching, something has to go wrong every single series. And it's like running my head into a brick wall rooting for this team. I can't stand it. But I'm still going to have to do it because I love the Yankees so much. I love this team so much. And we're all invested in it so much. It's ridiculous. I've never been so frustrated with my ball club in a while.
I mean, yeah, you sum it up perfectly there, Dylan. And one point I want to hammer on is the base running and just the outs on the bases. I mean, Susan Waldman, I was listening to the radio on Sunday because I was working, and she had said some number in the 30s that the Yankees had made on the bases because there was a pretty bad read, I guess, that Odor made on a ground ball to short, and he was tagged out. He got in a pickle in between second and third. And she said it was a number in the 30s that the Yankees have made outs on the bases. They are tied for the league lead in that. And never mind the league leading ground into double play stat that we've talked about. I just think this team, offense-wise, is just not – it's not where it needs to be at all. Then you look at, go back to opening day, put this lineup on paper, and you're saying that's a World Series team. The one concern we all had coming in was the pitching, and we all know that hasn't been too much of an issue. It's almost like I'm at a loss for words with how bad this offense has been. And I don't know. I texted you guys the other day. We should sell at the deadline, but we'll get to that in a little bit, I'm assuming. Joe, why don't you tell us about the starters? I see that coming up on the bottom.
Yeah. Well, James Taillon is probably the worst of the group right now. He's got a 5.74 ERA in the year. It's the seventh highest in the American League. His ERA on the road is 11.12. He's actually thrown to a 3.22 ERA at home. In 36 in the third innings, he's actually pitched pretty well in the Bronx. It's on the road where he's pitching horribly. Domingo Germán, so many people talk about how he's so inconsistent, and then he goes out and has the kind of start he has, and just sort of feeds into that idea. Obviously, Luis Severino. Everyone's probably seen the video by now. Whatever that was, it looked good. It didn't look good. Anybody got an update on what that? I mean, to me, almost looked like an Achilles.
It looked like a groin to me. John
he was
Heyman,
hopping on his right foot. I thought, like he was trying to keep his right foot off the ground.
Yeah, he couldn't walk off on his own. He needed help getting off the field. John Heyman tweeted around like lunchtime today that he would give us an update, or the Yankees would give us an update on Luis Severino's condition, and I've yet to see it. I just checked John Heyman's Twitter. He hasn't said anything, but then again, he's not the best reporter. But then again, the Yankees aren't all that truthful about their injury reports, so who the hell knows what's going on? That's just, on top of Judge's back spasms that came out today, and that's why he wasn't playing yesterday. It's just, and then on top of the losing too, it just this can't get worse. I mean, it definitely can get worse. So don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just when is when are we going to see the light? When are we going to start to win? And that's a big if, because right now I don't see. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see it with Jameson Taillon. I mean, the fact that his home ERA is nice is nice, but that can only do us so much. So what? We're supposed to handpick when you're supposed to pitch, Jameson? Like, oh, okay, don't worry about it. when we're in the Bronx, we'll let you pitch. But then when we're on the road, we'll throw someone else out there so you don't have a tough time. Like, no, we're paying you a certain. We're not paying them that much, but we're paying you to pitch like every 5 days. Get out there and pitch, perform. And he hasn't performed on the road. I have zero confidence in this guy at all. It's almost like when I saw who was pitching this weekend, I was like, okay, we're probably going to split because we'll lose the Jameson time.
Yeah,
We'll
listen,
lose
on paper,
yeah, exactly.
On paper, the Yankees look good in every game. The problem is they're just not delivering. It's as plain and simple as that. If there is a silver lining here, and I think I've seen one, Gary Sanchez in his last 13 games has a 349 batting average, 417 on base, 628 slugging. First time since June of 17 that he's hit that well over a 13-game span. He's clearly taken over the starting job. When I come on here and I scream about Kyle Higashioka, or a couple of years back when I was screaming about Austin Romine not being an everyday catcher, you understand what I'm talking about. I know you guys understand. I just mean people in general. Some guys are cut out for this. Some guys aren't. Now, you want to take a shot and say Gary's not? Okay, fair enough. I'll take that on the chin, Dylan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy's working hard. I know it seems like he's one of those guys right now who can't get out of his own way. And again, I think this team's pressing. I think this team feels like it's not going well. Aaron Boone, in his Zen-like way, said, quote, "We got to step it up." And
yeah.
So that brilliance is, I mean, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? We got to step it up. I'm still stunned, and especially after the Philadelphia debacle, let's call that 2-gamer. This team needs to do something. I for the life of me don't understand why no one's been fired. I don't think you could. I don't think you could shake up a team better than by finding. It doesn't have to be Aaron Boone necessarily, but somebody in that dugouts, dude. Yeah. Fire the third base coach. Fire somebody so that this team understands.
I wouldn't be opposed to firing the third base coach, considering how bad our base running has been.
Phil Nevin is a solid baseball man. Always been a Phil Nevin fan. I grew up watching that guy play third base. Mostly for the Padres, but he's very aggressive in who he's sending.
Oh yeah, he also doesn't know.
Do you know these guys? I mean, my God, you watch them run and practice. You got to know that these guys don't run well. But again, right? There needs to be some sort of shakeup because this team is, Look, I would expect that the Yankees will turn this around and have another couple good weeks, but what is that going to get you?
What I saw,
it's been an ugly cycle in 20-game spurts.
So apparently, in order just to reach, 93 wins, we need to go 60-33 for the rest of the season, which technically would put if we weren't so crappy. Sorry, I was going to swear. Been getting all heated about this crap team that we root for. We need to be on a 99 win pace in order to get to 93 wins.
So I don't feel too good about that. Yeah. Well, there's no reason right now to think that this team can do what you just said.
Oh, I have no. I wouldn't say no faith, but I
tell you right now, this idea that Severino's gone. Who knows for how long?
I mean, the way he looked coming off that field, I don't feel too good.
Kluber's out. Ty Young definitely can't pitch on the road.
I forgot about Corey Kluber.
Herman's a problem. Montgomery's a pretty good 5 guy. That's about it. This rotation is been exposed the last 2 weeks. It's not that strong. Michael King should never start a Major League Baseball game again. Michael King is best suited for the bullpen and no more than that. And I don't know why they haven't noticed that. It's an astronomical ERA as a starter. And it's quite impressive as a reliever. I mean, this is, if you want to talk analytics, I'm stunned. I mean, they've got to see the same things that we're seeing, right? I mean, don't they?
Are we missing something on Devi Garcia? Like, is he getting
absolutely
lit up?
Horrible pitching at Scranton. He has been.
Oh, is he?
I think he's got a 6.4 ERA, something like that. 6.43. I think I saw earlier. Yeah, he's been getting lit up, which sucks because I invested heavily in him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, you put him on your fantasy team, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. I thought, boy, this kid's going to come in and win 15 games this year. He might not even playing 15 games at this point.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't lost faith in Devi as like a long-term pitcher down the road, but I didn't know, Joe. I didn't know that. That kind of put a little bit of a damper on my whole mood with Devi. But I mean, honestly, I still might rather see him out there other than Jameson Taillon. Maybe he can make it past the 5th inning.
Yeah,
well. Because right now, all I see with Jameson Taillon is 5 innings, 4 innings, 1 out in his last outing in Saturday. He gave us 1 out. I shouldn't have to be seeing what's his face, Nestor Cortez more. I shouldn't even be seeing him, honestly.
Yeah, much too much Nestor of late. Don't want to see Nestor.
I love him, but too much.
I don't know if you guys saw, but there is a pitcher in the Mexican League right now. He just threw a complete game, 2-run game, 7 strikeouts. I don't know. You might have heard of him before. His name is 48-year-old Bartolo Colon. Do we give him one?
No, we didn't.
He is pitching complete game, 2-run, 7 strikeout. 48 years old.
I mean, this team's got to do something. I'd give.
How many beers do you have?
Who cares? By the way, Roldis Chapman had a rough couple days.
Yeah.
The numbers on the year still pretty impressive. 1.93 ERA. It was the first time as a Yankee, by the way, Roldis lost back-to-back appearances. He had not done that before. Career worst in his last outing against the Phillies. He's never had any of those things happened before. Hits, runs. It was a career worst night for him. You're due, and I'll tell you what, I mean, as often as these guys have been pitching, it's no surprise that you're starting to see the bullpen having little hiccups. That's pretty much how that goes. I don't know.
Yeah. And Luke, I'll let you start this one off.
I don't know. We should talk about Bartolo more. I mean, come on. I'm just joking.
He wants Bartolo in his life. I get it. I do.
Keep in mind, 5 starts this year, 3-1 with a 3.56 ERA. 90 pitches on that complete game. So let's keep him in the back of our head.
Who's he pitching against? Like his abuela?
Oh, geez. On a serious note, though, I mean, the bullpen's been up and down. Like we said, Chapman got rocked the other night. First time seeing that. You knew that was going to happen one of these days. It sucks that it happened against a bad team. But no innings pitched, 4 runs for Chapman. Those home runs he gave up were absolute rockets.
Yeah, those were bombs. Those were bombs.
Man, I just don't know. I don't know, Joe. I don't see any short term, or I think this is a long term fix. not long term as in years and years, but I
All
don't
right.
think I don't think it's within the season. I don't think it's salvageable.
All right. So this is a waste of time. Any positives come out? I mean, I guess no, and not. And I suppose
You know what? No. I'm gonna stop you right there.
No, please. Floor's all yours.
I loved the fight that we got out of our squad on Saturday. We were down big, and we showed up. I mean, DJ had that big 3-run home run. We did not give up. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when I saw that score 7-2, I was like, there is no way in hell we tie this game. No shot. We did tie it. I know the result is still the same. We still lost.
By the way,
but I'm just going to say I like the way we battled back. I'll leave it at that. That was the positive.
It's a very Aaron Boone observation. Hey, we almost didn't lose that game.
You like that?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you the weekend that I had. I bet the ranch this weekend.
Oh boy!
On Marvin Vittori beating Israel Adesanya.
Oh.
And
Joe. Who told you to do that? Who told you to do that?
I saw something, or I thought I saw something. I believe.
Yeah, you thought you saw something.
I also believed that Davison Figueiredo was going to beat Brandon Moreno, and I went on Stir the Pot on Friday, and I screamed at JJ and Sander and Riley. Told them they knew nothing about the sport.
Did you apologize to them yet?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm not going to apologize. I mean, the results speak for themselves. They were right. I was wrong.
No, you got
what more needs to be said?
Real quick, because I know this is a Yankees podcast. You have to apologize about the Marvin Vittori thing.
No, I'm not apologizing.
Oh no, you have
for
to.
Nothing.
Nor
do I apologize for this. Do we think about selling do we break up this team? This team has been, let's be honest, when it comes to the postseason, they've mostly underachieved. Do the Yankees consider moving Britton, Chapman, Stanton, Gary, who's suddenly resurgent? Do they look to move somebody like Glaber, Chad Green, Luke Voigt when he gets healthy again? Do you look to move some of these guys, see what kind of pieces you can get, sort of reset, see what you do next year? This team, again, when you talk about what it would take for them to, get to 99, 94 wins or whatever you said, it doesn't seem possible. With the roster that it doesn't seem possible with the roster that they have. And that's, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Here come the Red Sox fans.
I think Torres is a stretch, but everyone else on that list, Joe, I would not mind them leaving this team, especially the names on that list and the packages they would bring in. Looking at Chapman, how solid he's been this year. I think Chad Green could bring in a solid package. Luke Voigt could bring in a solid package. Obviously, we're not going to be trading Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole because we know what they would bring in, but we're not stupid. Stanton, I think you.
I mean, I know you're going to move that contract. I mean,
we might have to give up Jason Dominguez for someone to take that contract.
If some team felt bold enough to make that move, again, it would behoove the Yankees to hear it out. Because look, I love the guy. I think he's great. The Yankees, by the way, are 10-0 all time when him and Judge homer in the same game. I've said this on the Keys Brothers show a lot, that Giancarlo Stanton is Aaron Judge. It's the same guy. You don't need that guy twice. You have 2 second baseman types in your infield, and your best shortstop's your third baseman. there's a lot wrong with this team, right? I mean, your starting catcher's the worst defensive catcher in baseball.
There's a lot of guys out of place, position-wise, that shouldn't be where they are.
And we could overlook that if they were hitting.
That
Surely.
too.
Surely.
I mean, when it comes to Stanton, I know there's a lot of hate around the Yankee universe, the Yankee sphere that we live in. Of Just a lot of people hate the contract, and I think there's a lot of resentment towards him. That the fact that he's not a homegrown Yankee, and that we're giving him all this money, and he can never stay on the field, or he's always hurt, or whatever. But to be perfectly honest, this season, when Stan's been healthy, dude's been producing. I don't mean, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know where this team is under 500 by a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, maybe 5 or 6 games under 500 without Stan. Because people forget, they soon forget that Stanton is the reason why he got real hot during that streak. Won us a couple games all by himself. And just against the Twins, those first 2 games, even though he scored a bunch of runs, a lot of those runs were coming off a hot Giancarlo bat. So when this season, when he's been producing and when he's on the field, he's been producing and he's been hot. So for that reason, I'm out on getting rid of Giancarlo, but I am so up for hearing trade talks about Voit, possibly Gio, definitely Chad Green, definitely Clint Frazier, Gary. Even though I'm a big Gary defender, I'm ready to start hearing trades about Gary. But if someone came to me with the names Judge, Cole, or Dominguez, this is what I do. Hang up the phone. Don't want to hear it. Florial too.
At least we let him play.
Yeah, if we let him play, if we let him out of the cage.
Stuck in the basement that is AAA baseball.
Okay. Look, I think it's time to start bringing some of the young pups up too. I mean, I think this team's got about 2 weeks before you just got
unleash,
blow it up. I mean, you'll know where you're at in the next 2 weeks. I mean, if this team's 10, 12 games back by the All-Star break, then
that's another thing I was going to say. If we're at the All-Star break and we're 10 games out, start selling. We'll start selling.
The main guys you got to trade are struggling pretty bad. So how do you sell Clint Frazier? I don't think you do. I mean, I think Clint Frazier is a long-term guy here. I think you got to look to move out the guys that are making a significant amount of money, because at the end of the day, Brett Gardner's the backup to Clint Frazier, and yet Gardner makes 10 times the money Frazier does. And, you've got this guy sort of lingering in the dugout all year. Hey, kid, the job's yours. Never mind the bald guy in the corner banging his bat off the roof of the dugout. It's, yeah, I am. I am thinking more because, look, the Yankees right now could go out and make moves. And what's holding them back? Salary. They can't pass that threshold of 210. They're very close to it. There's very few moves that they could make. They're targeting some really low end guys. So again, nobody that's going to really shake things up too much. You're not getting Mike Trout. You know what I mean? You're looking at Sterling Marte or somebody of that caliber. No one that's gonna tear it up. That's what I'm saying. To me, I'm more concerned about getting rid of some of that money. If you could move Stanton, then you got to do it. I mean, that would be priority number one. I think Chapman and or Britton. I think one or the other has to go. You don't need to have two of the best closers in baseball in this bullpen. It's ridiculous. You're not winning, so it's not like they're doing anything. And again, if you can get a haul back for Chapman, why wouldn't you do it?
Now, see, okay, if we're going to talk about moving the bullpen, because I feel like if we're in this position to sell, I feel like bullpen moves would be a lot more easier to pull off. And if we're talking about doing said bullpen moves, between the three of us, who do we feel more comfortable in dealing? Because I don't feel the way Chapman's been performing this year. Yeah, we could get a lot, but if we're gonna if things turn around miraculously, we're gonna want him on this team. So I think the only person I'm real personally comfortable with moving would be a Chad Green. I'd want to keep a Britton.
Let me ask you something. What are you getting and what are you keeping them for? You keep Britton, get rid of Green, get rid of Chapman, get rid of Darren O'Day can go if he gets healthy. Justin Wilson can go. Anybody that could bring you back a piece, a youngster, you could trade Chapman and maybe get like a young starter from somebody, or maybe somebody's got somebody in their rotation and they want to move them out for a young buck in the pen, and they need. In the rotation, there's a lot of things that they could do. I think you have to listen to everything because you got to put together a better baseball team than this. This team is just not very good, and the more we watch them play, the more it's obvious. This is the fourth best team in the American League East. This team's not better than Tampa. They're not better than Toronto. And I think on paper they're better than Boston, but they're not playing better than Boston. So you have to say Boston's better. So that means the Yankees are the fourth best team in the American League East. And this is what I've been saying to people. It's not that the Yankees are 8.5 games out of first place. It's that the teams that are above them, the other three teams, they can't beat them. Those are the teams that they've struggled. They've got a winning record against the Central, against the West, and against the National League. They've been horrendous against the American League East. And the record's only as good as it looks because of the Orioles. So Riley, the antagonizer of my life,
is he a Red Sox fan?
He's a fan of anything I love. I mean, he's against anything I love. I don't really know where he falls. I'm kidding. He is a Red Sox fan, but that doesn't matter. Are we giving up on the season? Answer: not necessarily giving up, but being realistic. I mean, again, if the Yankees were in second place 8 games behind Tampa, I would say, all right, let's get this offense going. You're behind teams that you cannot beat. Teams that have beaten you down all season and eaten your pitching and stopped your offense. How do you turn that around? The last couple of years now against Tampa, they've been horrible. Boston's had this amazing resurgence, and we said, hey, Toronto's getting really good on offense. Guess what? They're really good. And we keep, I heard Michael Kay even suggesting that pitching is not Michael Kay, John Sterling. I was listening to the radio, the Phillies game, and he was talking about how that pitching staff is suspect. Is it? Is it more suspect than the Yankees?
Well, I mean,
not only do you have to get hot and win at a record pace, you got to hope that the three teams that are better put together, play better fundamental baseball, all crap to bed at the same time. The luck that would need to be involved here is off the charts.
It's just,
so am I giving up on the season? No, but I'm fast losing hope. We're down to the last few sands in the hourglass.
Yeah.
Oh, Lucas, I'll let you go because I'm going to blow up.
Are we giving up? It's hard. giving up's hard. It's hard to do. I mean, I give up on the Giants after they start 0-7. That's easy because I know that there's no way they go 9-7. Giving up 60-some games into an 162 game season is hard to do. The way we've been playing, no, we have not looked like a team that can make any noise. Not even so far, if the season ended today, make a wild card spot. I mean, Joe is right. There's 3 other teams in this division that are better than us. The Toronto Blue Jays, I mean, we saw them score 18 runs yesterday. What's the highest amount of runs the Yankees have scored this season? 8, 9?
I want to say 9.
Boston, like Joe said, some amazing resurgence no one saw coming, but their offense looks fantastic. They're actually playing fundamentally sound baseball. And then Tampa, who knows how Tampa does what Tampa does, but they do it, and they do it good. That's the best way I can put it. I mean, there's really no tricks behind it. I mean, there probably are some tricks up the sleeve of Kevin Cash, but he never lets those out. And I don't know. This team has taken a very dark turn, and I really hope they can turn it around. I'm hopeful, but I'm also very doubtful at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, Lucas, I'm totally there with you. I have faith because, we've heard this because we're all baseball fans. We've heard this our whole lives that the baseball season is not a sprint; it is a marathon. And that I like to believe that there's still time. There's still 100 or so games left to play. That doesn't mean that we have time to get better. I'm not going to sit here and say the Yankees are going to. I said this at the beginning of the year. I thought we were going to win 100 games. That's clearly not going to happen. Clearly not going to happen.
In 2016, the Yankees were 31-34, and for the only time in the Steinbrenner era, dealt Aroldis Chapman, Andrew Miller, Carlos Beltran, and Ivan Nova. And not only did that help spur what happened in 17, 18, and 19, the Yankees actually played better the rest of that season. Gary Sanchez emerged as what we thought was the catcher of the future. Saw Aaron Judge at the tail end of that season. And I don't know. I mean, again, when I say making some moves here just for flexibility's sake, to me, honestly, Giancarlo Stanton is the move I think the Yankees should focus on.
Yep.
There's got to be somebody interested in that bat. Even if you eat some of that money, I mean, the relief of like $30 million a year off that salary cap would allow the Yankees to go out and get somebody who can hit for average and get on base.
And not to mention, Joe, for years and years down the road, too. I mean, we're paying this guy until 2028.
Well, you know what's the worst part about this? Is that they're like half the league. We can look at half the league and just kind of cross it off because we can't. There's no National League team that will take him at this point.
Dodgers.
You
they
think
sign
so?
Albert Pujols, for Christ's sake. Yeah, they'll sign anybody.
Well, I mean,
they'll sign, they don't care.
If you think of then you have to stick him out in the outfield. Where is he going to fit in that Dodgers outfield? Is he gonna play over Cody Bellinger?
I don't know.
No, I'll tell you right now, he's not gonna play over Cody Bellinger.
Oh, let's see what happens to Cody Bellinger in the next couple of weeks.
I'm not hoping that Cody Bellinger gets hurt.
I would love Cody Bellinger to blow out his knee or an Achilles. That would be amazing. That would be really great. And the Dodgers would be like, "Wow, we need an outfield." Well, here you go. The Red Sox, I should say, moved Mookie Betts. And that was a brilliant move. It was a brilliant move. I mean, there was a lot of money that they weren't going to be able to pay this guy. Got Alex Verdugo back for it. They're fine. They bounced back like champions. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to you gotta shake this thing up. I love Giancarlo Stanton. I would hate to see him go. But the financial flexibility that would give you, and again, you've already got that guy, and he's a little bit younger, and his name is Aaron Judge. You don't need the same guy twice. The Yankees have to stop doing that. They're like the Giants with defensive ends back in the 90s. It was like, can you draft anybody that's not a defensive end? How many pass rushers do you need? And then you get to today, and you're like, my God, if they could have one guy pass rush. So I don't know, man. I think Chapman's probably the most realistic and best thing you're going to get a return for.
Yeah. And to just, what's the most annoying part about this is the fact that in a season where we're expecting to win a World Series, we're sitting here talking about, we're going to sell at the All-Star break. The fact that we have to have this conversation is just infuriating in itself. Because deep down, I still have, stupidly, I still might have this faith, but I still have faith that this team can win a championship.
Can I spoil that for you for a minute? This team
Go
finished.
ahead. I already played crappy on golf today. Just ruined my day.
This was the 7th best team last year in the American League in 60 games. Is 100 more games going to make this team better or worse? Because I don't see this team getting better. I don't see where that's going to happen. The saving grace of Severino coming back was like, oh, yeah, this will be great. With Garcia waiting down on the wings whenever you needed somebody. Tyone's not pitching. Well, bring Davey up. He stinks. Voit gets hurt. He comes back, gets hurt again. Hicks, as usual. I mean, Aaron Hicks and Jacoby Ellsbury have a lot in common.
Well, minus the contracts.
Yeah. At least Hicks' contract doesn't totally suck. That's the only difference.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When Hicks went down, I was like, whatever. We're not paying him anything. So it's okay. But, I mean, it's just this whole talk about how, we got to start getting rid of guys and how we need to start. It's just, it's just so upsetting because we haven't won a goddamn thing since 2009. And I know us Yankee fans can come off as sounding, spoiled or whatnot. But to be perfectly honest, with the expectations that this ownership group gives us and what we're told every year is that we should be competing for championships. And when we're not competing for championships, it's frustrating. And we haven't solidly competed for a championship or even made it to a championship since 2009. So I'm losing my patience a little bit with this team. And the fact that I'm hearing from outside people and that I'm seeing that this group that I've been told for the past 2.5, 3 years that this is the core that's going to win, and now I'm being told that, this might not be it. When is it going to be it? 5 years from now? 6 years from now? I'm going to have to wait 20 years for a World Series? Will I be alive for the next time we win a World Series or make it to a World Series? When is it going to happen? Because 12 years is a little long, and I know it's, there's other teams in the league that have dealt with longer and dealt with worse. But guess what? We're not other teams. We're the goddamn Yankees, and we should be winning baseball games, championships, pennants, and divisions. And when I see the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Tampa Bay just kicking our teeth in week after week, month after month, year after year, I'm starting to lose my patience. Ugh.
I mean,
it's just a lot. It's just a lot now.
It is a lot. I mean, how can I put
Dylan, you need a therapist.
Joe, you don't know the half of it, buddy. Oh, boy. And guess what? After I'm done rooting for this team, I got Cam Newton and the Patriots right after it. So
yeah, get a therapist.
Woo!
Number 50, Mac Jones.
Another number 50, Mac Jones coming in.
The Yankees Red Sox game, June 27th at Fenway Park, has been dropped from ESPN Sunday Night Baseball and has been reverted back to a 1 p.m. start.
That's embarrassing. That's
Yes.
truly, truly embarrassing.
That's
where we're at right now.
They're really dropping Red Sox Yankees rivalry games.
Yeah.
On another note,
boy.
they
All
just
right.
announced that the 10-game suspensions for pitchers will be with pay.
Oh boy.
And that
Are they suspending pitchers? Oh, I saw those texts from Cole and Wainwright and jeez, boy.
The memo outlining the plan for foreign substances is coming tomorrow. It includes a 10-day suspension with pay for anyone caught with any sort of substance, from sunscreen mixed with rosin to spider tack.
How in God's good name are you going to marshal that?
And then
if I've got sunscreen on my forehead and I take my hat off and I rub my fingers through my hair and you look at my fingers, I mean, there's going to be stuff on it. Are you kidding me?
Then
you just going to start throwing everybody out of games?
I wish I was playing, because I'd be like, look, do you see how pale I am? Like, I need to put sunscreen on or I'm going to burn.
How unbelievably stupid. I mean, good Lord.
Oh, boy.
And then it says,
in Major League Baseball, they can't find more ways to disappoint, huh?
Enforcement to begin June 21st. Some teams are preparing for it by asking players who use foreign substances to throw bullpen sessions without any sticky stuff so they can get a better feel for their pitches.
Yeah, good luck. That's not going to work out. I hate to say it.
Why don't they just regulate it? Why isn't there just a rag that all the pitchers can use? It has the whatever they want on it, but just both pitchers can use it.
What a joke this is. This is a joke. This is a joke because people are mad that guys are striking out. It's got nothing to do with the sticky stuff. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with launch angles. Trying to uppercut a 98-mile-an-hour fastball is hard to do. It's hard to do. And this is all they've been preaching for the last 4 or 5 years, and it looks like garbage. And now you're going to break the pitcher's balls about it? Really? They're not for nothing. Half this league that throws 100 miles an hour cannot control it at all. You know what you're going to see? You're going to see a bunch of guys get it in the head in the next couple weeks. That's what you're going to see. Because most of these guys can't control the stuff because what are they looking for these days? If you're 6'4" right-handed, you throw 100 miles an hour, they'll find a spot for you. And now you can't use the sticky stuff, so good luck throwing it straight.
I mean, the Rays will sign you if you're 6'4" and throw 100.
What happened to 5'8" guys that can throw, that know how to pitch? Is that gone too?
Seems
you
like
don't see him. You don't see him anymore. I mean, I could literally list maybe. I mean, one guy. There's one guy. His name is Kyle Hendricks. That's it. I don't know anyone else. That's a right-hander. No, and I totally agree with you. It's just ridiculous that the fact that baseball's known about this too. They've known that pitchers have been using sticky stuff or just, something a little extra to get control on the ball for the longest time. And now all of a sudden...
Gaylord Perry spent his whole career throwing a spitter. Everybody knew he was doing it. He got caught doing it. And he's in Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? What a joke. Baseball is such a joke when it comes to issues and discipline, whether it's the amphetamines of the 70s or the cocaine of the 80s, the steroids of the 90s. Baseball, between Bud Selig and this current idiot, Manfred, they are ruining the game of baseball in so many ways, and it's just eating away at me, Dylan. It's eating away at me. All right, let's take a look at
bring back cocaine.
Maybe.
I'll tell you right now, that'll make the game a hell of a lot more interesting.
So Yanks obviously are off tonight. They'll be going to Buffalo to play Toronto or Florida. Where is it? Durden,
Buffalo.
Florida now.
Buffalo.
Is it Buffalo? Where are they? I don't even know anymore.
It got
bizarro world
it got
we
warm
live
in Buffalo, so they moved their ass back up there.
All right, so we're going up to Buffalo. Jordan Montgomery pitches tomorrow night, 7:07 start. He's 3-1 with a 3.99 ERA, 65 strikeouts, and a 1.15 WHIP. He's up against Hyunjin Ryu, who is just 5-4 with a 3.34 ERA, 62 strikeouts, and a 1.10 WHIP. I've been saying this guy's not a number one, and he's been proving my point of late, which makes me feel better because early in the year, he looked like an ace, and he certainly, I think you both agree, looked like an ace when he faced the Yankees earlier this year.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was bad.
He looked good. He looked real good.
Yeah, he made me look really stupid, and I don't like that. But I think it's important that we all acknowledge this, that I can be wrong sometimes. I'm not always right about things.
Hey,
I spent a lot of time researching. I spent a lot of time thinking, but I'm wrong sometimes, Lucas. It's okay.
What's today's date? It's okay, so it's 10:59 on June 14th. Write this down. Joe has admitted to being wrong.
I could do it. I could be wrong sometimes. Not the end of
the world. I have that. I have that documented. I have no faith against Toronto. I don't know about you guys.
They're really good, and their pitching is pretty good.
George Springer's not even on the field.
Yeah, imagine. Wednesday night, another 7:07 start. Ross Stripling, 2-3, a 4.91 ERA, 49 strikeouts, a 1.38 WHIP. He will be facing Garrett Cole, who is 7-3, a 2.31 ERA, 113 strikeouts, and a 0.87 WHIP. But, I mean, he won't have the luxury of the spider stuff, so who knows what you're going to get now.
Well, you know what? I was going to say I was happy with the way he came out against the Twins after all that stuff. He was getting one, we haven't addressed this. That press conference with Garrett Cole when they were asking him about the sticky stuff, that was Lucas.
I disagree. What a stupid question to ask. What do you think he's going to say? Yep, I did it.
Well,
we all know that he's using something, and so I think what he was saying was he wasn't using that exact thing that they were specifically asking him about, and he was trying to figure out how to not look like A-Rod and be like, I've never used steroids. And then you got to go back to Katie Kirk and be like, yeah, I lied. I used steroids. You look like an idiot when you do that. And I think he was trying to be careful because, let's be honest, it was busted.
Oh, well, he ended up answering the question pretty well just after he had went,
for like 10 seconds, too.
There are things that have been passed down through the generations.
That's not a bad answer.
I'm sorry. What? What are you even talking about, bro? What are you going to
do? When he came out and struck out Donaldson twice, and then he had 10 Ks against the Twins in 6 innings, I was like, okay, maybe the sticky stuff was not too much of an issue, or because I think all of our fears were, is Garrett Cole like really relying on the sticky stuff to get his stuff done?
Of course not. You know what?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried.
Sticky stuff doesn't make the ball go 100 miles an hour. That unbelievable arm does. And by the way, long before his sticky stuff, Josh Donaldson is now 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts in his career against Garrett Cole. And it doesn't matter what's on Garrett Cole's hand because he's better than Josh Donaldson.
A lot of guys. Can I ask you guys a quick question?
Yes.
Going back to this whole Donaldson Garrett Cole thing, there was a big debate on New York Sports Radio. would you guys have liked to have seen Garrett Cole come out there, or any of the Yankees pitchers that day come out and plunk Donaldson for what he said?
No.
I wouldn't have minded it. I'm not one who minds when you get retaliation like that.
Why? I mean, why?
But at the
To
same
me,
time,
to
Joe,
me,
at
to
the
me,
sa-
you
at
go
the
out
same
there
time-
and you overwhelm him with your pitches and you stare him down and then you brush him back off to the dugout. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
Listen,
and he
I
did
mean,
that. I was
not
happy
for
with
nothing.
that.
This whole thing about the people naming names. Hey, listen, if you cheat and you get busted, oh, that guy said it. Yeah, who gives a crap where it came from? Don't cheat. If you don't cheat, people won't have to name names. It's not fair when 5 or 6 guys are doing something and everybody else is like, how come we suck? I'm glad somebody had the balls to say something. Finally.
Yeah, but I mean,
Listen, baseball's broken and it needs to be fixed. And somebody had to say something. Maybe more guys are using it than we think. There's got to be a reason why everybody in baseball sucks. Nobody can hit.
But I mean, when we're trying. I mean, I get that everyone else is using it, but there's more than half the league. Everyone's like, I'd rather have these guys have the sticky stuff on their hand, so I know that 100-mile-per-hour ball is not going up into my chin.
Dylan, it's an excuse because of launch angle and the Stratocast bulk. The idea that hitting a home run like a certain distance means anything to anybody. You're a casual fan if you're a 490-foot home run. I don't give a crap where it lands.
No, that's not my point.
No, my point is this. They spent the last 4 or 5 years teaching people to swing uppercuts at 100-mile-an-hour fastballs.
It was just dumb.
The balls were juiced, and so if you hit it, it went a mile. So now the balls aren't juiced, and these guys can't catch up to them.
But that's not my point with the sticky stuff. My point with the sticky stuff.
Oh, I know what your point with the sticky stuff is, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's not a safety thing. If you can't control a 100-mile-an-hour fastball without having resin all over your hands, then you shouldn't be in baseball. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there's too many lousy AAA quality pitchers that throw hard at the major league level.
You can make that argument too.
But it doesn't explain why the league-wide batting average is in the 230s.
I know we're running late, but we could also run into that Pete Alonso conspiracy theory that he brought up, that the league is changing. I'm going to just talk about it real quick. That the league is changing the balls based off the free agency, which the free agency classes that are coming up, which I
don't think it's got anything to do with. I think that guy's an idiot. The only person who's dumber than him is Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is the only other person who I would definitely be like, okay, if he said it, he's an idiot. I haven't heard anybody credible or with a brain say it. And so I'm going to dismiss, beef chest for now. And if more evidence comes to light, then I'll entertain the thought. But as of right now, I think that's a little too grand. You think the union would stand for that? Tony Clark's been around the game for a long time.
Stand for that at all?
No, nobody would stand for that. Somebody would have leaked that to the press by now, and they certainly wouldn't have done it through Pete Alonso, who is as meathead as there is in baseball. So put that thought out of your mind for now. Let's get some evidence going first. Thursday, 7:07 start. Michael King going to make another start because he sure is. 0-3 on the year, 3.77 ERA, 28 Ks. A 1.35 whip, but as I mentioned, his ERA as a starter is like up near 12. So why the Yankees continue to trot him out there in a starting role is beyond really, to me at this point, any sort of sense or logic. How many times do you have to see a guy go out there and fail before you stop putting him in that position? But that's just me. What do I know?
Maybe they're like, oh, he's in the state of New York. He'll be okay.
Hey, not a bad thought.
Buffalo's New York.
Because on Friday, James Tyone will be facing the Oakland Athletics. Yes, sir. James Tyone, 1-4, 5.74 ERA, 58 strikeouts, and a 1.37 WHIP, facing former Yankee prospect James Caprielium. James Caprillion. Remember him? Caprillion. He's 3-1, 2.51 ERA, 35 Ks, and a 1.18 WHIP. He is big league in it right now. He has been a baller all year.
We sent him over for Sonny Gray, huh?
Yeah, that was the Sonny Gray deal.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's what you get, though. That's what you get. Everybody wanted to trade for a starter. There you go. Got rid of a really good one. Get a really crappy one. Nice job.
You know what's funny is that I remember exactly where I was and how I felt about the Sonny. When we got Sonny Gray, it was like 2 days of leading up about like, are we going to get Sonny Gray? Are we going to make a move for a pitcher? And I remember just like sitting on my couch in the summer watching MLB Network, and just suddenly across the bottom ticker, it's like, Yankees trade for Sonny Gray, trade James Caprillion. I remember freaking out, being like, yeah, we got our guy. Like, let's go. Like 2018, like we got our pitching staff's great. And then we know what happened.
I was
there's sure, but there's just something about trading for a pitcher midseason that hasn't really worked out for the Yankees since David Cohn in 1995.
Yeah, I was
a lot of failure.
I was 9 months old, so I'm not going to say I remember that one too well.
The Sean Chacon trade, I think, of 2007. Also a solid pickup, but usually when the Yankees grab a pitcher midseason, going back to Eddie Whitson in the 84-85 season when they had traded for him and then back to San Diego because he couldn't pitch in New York. Go figure. Saturday to Stadium, a 105 start. Domingo Germán, 4-4, 3.88 ERA, 57 strikeouts, and a 112 WHIP. Will face Chris Bassett, who is one of my starters on my fantasy team, and I'll tell you what, boys, 7-2, a 3.43 ERA, 91 Ks, and a 1.04 WHIP. Bassett's been huge for them all season. Sunday, Jordan Montgomery takes on Sean Manaea, who's 5-2, a 3.09 ERA, 73 Ks, and a 1.19 ERA. So that does not bode well. That's not a good weekend matchup pitching-wise. Oakland's pitching matchups at least looks far superior to the Yankees. They'll be off on Monday, and we will be back on Monday with our next show and see where we're at. We can get a little more into buying and selling because I think this could be this is 6 games that I think really could be a maker or a breaker.
Yeah,
I really do. They got to start hitting more home runs, by the way. I saw the Dodgers hit 7 the other night. The Yankees have this season 3 home run games. No 4 home run games, no 5, no 6, no 7. Toronto hit like 10 home runs against the Red Sox yesterday.
You know what's going to happen?
They got to start popping them. They got to bop.
You know what's going to start happening, though, is that like the day we hit 5 home runs or we hit 6 home runs, all the Yankee fans on New York sports radio will call. They'll call in, I guarantee you. They'll be like, oh, well, they're hitting all these home runs that are meaningless. What do they mean? They're just a bunch of nothing home runs late in the game. And it's just like, well, what do you want them to do? You want them to not hit home runs? Like sometimes I love the Yankees fan base, but sometimes I just can't stand us. And right now, there's a lot of Yankee fans out there that are just unbearable to listen to some of their takes, even though this team is down, and there's a lot of reasons to be down on them. Some of them are just not making any sense at this point.
Are you done? You sound like an insane person tonight.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, like
SpongeBob SquarePants. What are you doing?
What,
This guy's gone off the deep end too. What is going on here?
I'm
he's
crazy.
he's got to find some sort of humor in life when your baseball team's shitty. Everything's just I mean, his football team sucks too.
His team is my team too.
I mean, your team sucks too. My football team sucks. This is all we have, and it's imploding in front of our face. We might not be happy until like next spring training.
No,
that's a long time.
I would like a nice active trade deadline, to be honest. CleverCrestMedia.com/The Roll Call Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at The Roll Call Podcast, on Twitter at The Roll Call Show, on the Instagram at The Roll Call Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, download, do all the stuff that podcasters tell you to do on their shows. The Roll Call is part of the CMG Sports Network. Again, for more, CleverCrestMedia.com. You can also follow CMG all over social media. For a very angry... Oh, Dylan, what?
Just one question. When are we going to... What will it take for the three of us to start feeling good about this team?
10 wins in a row.
I like that.
I'll take 8 in a row.
I need double digits.
You know what? Go 5-1 in these next 6 games, and on Monday, I'll tell you I'm feeling better about things.
Yeah, 5-1 with some offensive showing. That's what I'll take.
If they're 3-3 or 2-5, then I'm just gonna act like a big crybaby, and I'm gonna scream for them to trade the entire team.
Oh,
fair.
If we go 2-3,
we do that,
or 300 or below.
The name of the episode will be Fire Boone and everybody in the front office.
Yes.
All right. I love it. All right. For the fired up and angry Dylan Oxton and the delirious Lucas Balduke, I am the very frustrated and angry Joe Aguirre. We'll see you next time on the Roll Call Podcast.
Can I get a roll call? Let's get it on. Hit the field, let's play ball. Come on home, we stand tall. Oh yeah, we back. Oh yeah, we back. 2020 division, Yanks back on the train track. Had to let Patensis go, but we welcome and Garrett Cole. Judge back with the guy, we're bringing Giancarlo up on these corners. Look at the information they gonna K-back awesome. Boy in the shelter, they on the corners with your wrestler man. You seeing Chesto play too. Severino in rotation, Paxton throwing K's too. Fully loaded, we got the air leads wide open. One game at a time, we stay focused. Bronx Bombers on a mission. World Series chasing, taking the division. No time for wasting. Again, first placing.